Ever imagine yourself, like, in the thick of it, debating a huge issue, maybe even, like, shaping national policy, you
Yeah.
know? It's funny because it could start smaller than you think, I swear. Like, even just getting involved in your own backyard can snowball. There was this guy in the
Mhm.
city council in my town, the quietest librarian you ever met, right? Ended up leading this whole thing against a giant inflatable duck.
A giant duck.
Swear to you. Said it clashed with the town's image, this whole big thing. But see, that's the thing. Caring about where you're from, that can take you places, maybe even all the way to Parliament, right?
Mhm.
But how do you actually get there to be an MP? What's the real deal?
So many people have this, like, picture in their head about politics, not the how-to guide. That's where this whole deep dive with the RoleCatcher comes in.
100%. We're not just talking about being an MP, but becoming one. And get this, RoleCatcher breaks the whole thing down like it's levels in a game. Entry level, junior MP, all the way up, each with its own to-do list. They've even got AI in the mix now, changing how campaigns work. But we'll circle back to that. First off, what does an MP do all day? You'd think it's all speeches and bills, right?
You'd think so, yeah, but RoleCatcher gets into the nitty-gritty. One thing that surprised me was the research side, like heavy-duty policy analysis.
Wait, so it's not just coming up with a catchy slogan.
Nope. Let's say your thing is the environment, right? As an MP, you're not just saying, let's cut emissions. You got to get into what are the current roles, what kind of emissions, what's the impact. Only then can you write a law that actually works.
So it's way more hands-on than people think. You're like a policy mechanic almost.
And that's just step one. RoleCatcher talks about the whole implementation phase, too.
Okay, so you've researched, written the thing, maybe even had those big debates. What's next?
Well, now the real fun starts. Say your policy is getting everyone electric cars. You're now in charge of making sure those charging stations get built, working with car companies, dealing with any bumps in the road. You're not just writing it down. You're making change actually happen.
Makes sense. And that's where the whole being in the public eye thing comes in, I bet.
Totally. Think about that recent affordable housing thing. MPs had to be out there explaining it, calming people down, even tweaking things based on what people were saying back.
Sounds like a lot on your plate.
It is, and that leads us to the other side of the coin, something RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from what's tough about this job.
Right, because let's be real, it's not all fancy dinners and photo shoots. What are some of the challenges they talk about?
Yeah.
So yeah, being an MP, that's got to come with some baggage, right? What's the hard part they're talking about?
Well, first off, it's nonstop, you know, long hours, everyone's watching your every move, plus you're making decisions that affect, like, the whole country.
And that everyone's watching. That's got to be way more intense these days with social media, right?
RoleCatcher makes a good point there. It's like MPs are under a microscope now. Every word out of your mouth, every vote, it's all over the news, dissected online. Gotta have thick skin for that.
Not to mention you could lose your job like that.
Yeah.
Not like a regular career, one bad election, and you're out.
Exactly. RoleCatcher's big on that job security. Forget about it. You're always campaigning, shaking hands, proving yourself. Not for the easily stressed, that's for sure.
So who does thrive in this kind of role? What are the skills, the personality to handle it all?
The skills part's interesting in RoleCatcher's thing. Good education helps, but they say it's more about using what you know, not just knowing it.
So you could ace all the political science classes, but that's not enough.
Right. They talk about legislative analysis, which is basically taking a law apart, figuring out what it really means, any loopholes.
Man, that's detailed. Like that data privacy thing
Yeah.
recently, I could barely follow the basics, let alone what the law actually said.
Exactly. MPs got to cut through the noise, get the tech stuff, then explain it to the rest of us. That's a skill in itself.
So communication, huge part of it, I bet.
Huge. RoleCatcher's all about that, whether you're in Parliament, debating, talking to voters, dealing with reporters. Got to be clear, concise, convincing, the whole deal.
And being able to talk people around, right? Politics is all about finding middle ground, even when everyone's fired up.
Right on the money. RoleCatcher has a whole bit on building consensus, dealing with people who disagree, coming up with solutions everyone can live with.
It's cool how they break it all down. But then it makes you wonder, how do you actually learn all that? Where does someone even start if they're interested in politics?
That's where RoleCatcher's roadmap comes in. They say it starts way before Parliament even enters the picture.
So like baby steps, you're saying. Gaining experience, building those skills without running for office right away.
Exactly. They're big on internships, working on campaigns, shadowing someone already in office, even volunteering for groups you care about, getting your feet wet, seeing how it all works up close.
I bet you learn a ton that way. Plus, meet people, make connections.
100%. And they don't stop there. They're all about getting involved in your community, too.
Beyond just the politics stuff, what's the connection there?
Well, they say even things like local boards, volunteering, even just going to town hall meetings, it all adds up.
Showing you care, getting to know what people need, proving yourself.
And that makes you a way stronger candidate down the line when you do decide to run.
Okay, it's all clicking now. You start with caring about your town, get some real-world experience, build those key skills. But there's one thing we haven't touched on yet, tech. Specifically AI. Remember we teased that earlier.
Yeah, and it's not just some futuristic what if. RoleCatcher says AI is changing politics right now and how future MPs can use it to their advantage.
AI and politics, man. It does feel kind of sci-fi when you say it like that. What's the link? How does it actually play out?
Well, look at how we get info now, right? It's all algorithms these days. Social media, Google searches, even the news. AI's got its fingers in all of it. Politics too, no surprise there.
So you're saying it's shaping how we see candidates, their whole message, even if we don't realize it.
100%. RoleCatcher talks about how there's these AI tools now, they're crunching insane amounts of data, like who votes for who, what people do online, even what they're saying on Twitter, all to figure out trends and who's going to win what.
That's wild, like having a cheat sheet for the election.
Yeah.
But where does RoleCatcher itself come in?
They give you the decoder for that cheat sheet,
Yeah.
levels the playing field.
Instead of being scared of AI, you got to learn how to use it. Tell me more. This is fascinating.
Imagine you're giving a big speech, right? RoleCatcher's AI, it can listen in real time. Not just the words, but how you're saying them, even your face. Tells you if it's landing with the people you want votes from.
No way. It's like a high-tech speech coach, but with data to back it up. What else can it do?
Online stuff, too. When to post that killer tweet, how to tweak your message for different people, even what topics are going to go viral. It's nuts.
So it's not just what you say anymore, it's the whole package. AI's changing the game completely.
And RoleCatcher, to make sure you're not just playing, you're winning. Using tech to get your message heard louder, connecting with voters better, upping your chances of winning a whole thing.
Sounds like AI is becoming the thing for anyone who wants to get into politics. Door knocking and baby kissing's not enough anymore.
It's all about the digital game now, using that data to plan your moves. And RoleCatcher, they're the ones with the playbook.
Man, what a deep dive. We went from that initial, hey, maybe politics, all the way to AI running elections. So, for our listeners out there, the ones thinking about a future in this world, what are the big takeaways?
Biggest thing I'd say is getting to Parliament, it's not as impossible as it seems. It's about helping your community, building up those skills, and getting comfy with tech, because that's where it's all going.
And RoleCatcher can be your go-to, laying it all out for you, giving you the tools, helping you make sense of it all.
Exactly. Whether you're a student figuring things out, someone young wanting to make a difference, even that librarian we talked about, passionate about their town, it all starts somewhere.
Love it. So everyone listening, check out RoleCatcher, keep asking questions, and don't underestimate yourselves. Maybe one day we'll see your name on the ballot. Till next time, keep learning, keep exploring, keep diving deep.